Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Kartik month special series. So we've completed almost a little bit more than half of the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam of Canto 10. We completed the Vrindavan pastimes and we entered Mathura along with Krishna and Balaram until Kamsa is killed and Ugrasena is placed on the throne by Krishna. So we want to come back to Vrindavan. No? We don't want to leave Vrindavan. So therefore we are starting our Brajamandala Parikrama today. So in ISKCON, they organize the Brajamandala Parikrama, where you cover all of Brajabhumi, but it takes 30 days to complete this parikrama. So I think I know one devotee from our group who's been on this Brajamandala Parikrama. I don't see her here this morning, but she was very fortunate to go for those 30 days. It's a lot of austerity that one has to undertake to do this parikrama because the arrangements are very, very simple. It's to get you into the mood of, getting into the leelas and pastimes of the Lord more than anything else. So there's a beautiful painting of Brajabhumi. But today we are actually going to do the parikrama. This is the best photo that I could get of Brajabhumi. It is said that it is shaped like a lotus flower. And during the daytime, it just opens up and blossoms. And during the night, it contracts. So during the daytime, Krishna is having pastimes with his cowherd friends. And at night, this lotus contracts and Krishna has his pastimes with the gopis. So you can see the Yamuna river and forests on either side of the river. You can't see the names of all of the places that we're going to visit today. But you can search for this map on Google, you'll find it. And when you zoom in, you can see all these beautiful places, including Govardhan Hill, Radhakund, Shyamakund, Keshighat, and Govindakund, and Kusum Sarovar. So Brajabhumi is a beautiful place. It also extends into Rajasthan, current day Rajasthan. There are some places of parikrama there as well. So let us get into this Brajabhumi. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that this whole material cosmos is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. That this whole material cosmos, irrespective of which universe you visit, which Brahma is overseeing that universe, whether it is a 4-headed Brahma or a 100-headed Brahma, it doesn't matter. Every place is temporary and it is full of distress. That's what Krishna says. But then this Brajabhumi is called, is non-different than Brajabhumi in Goloka Vrindavan. So there are two kinds of pastimes, what is called the Bhaumya Leela and then the Vraja Leela, the actual Vraja Leela. So the Bhaumya Leela is the Lord coming to the material universe along with all of his paraphernalia and all of his associates to perform pastimes for the pleasure of his devotees. So here in the Venu Gita, the gopis are glorifying this Brajabhumi, and the shloka is from the 10th canto, the 21st chapter, and the 10th shloka. Vrindavanam saki bhuvo vitanoti kirtim yaddevaki sutapadam bujalabdha lakshmi Govinda venu manumatta mayura nrityam Prekshadrisanvaratanya samasta sattvam. The gopis are actually glorifying the Lord's flute and his flute playing. And in one of the shlokas they say, O Sakhi, the fame of the earth is enhanced, having been decorated with the marks of Sri Krishna's lotus feet. Upon hearing Krishna's flute, peacocks take it to be the thunder of clouds, and becoming intoxicated begin to dance. When the other animals in the meadows of Govardhana see this, they are mesmerized. Thus, the presence of Sri Vrindavan on earth makes this planet even more glorious than Vaikuntha. So the gopis themselves are glorifying Vrindavan's position as being superior to that of Vaikuntha. Of course, in the spiritual world, Vrindavan is superior to Vaikuntha. But when that Vrindavan comes down to the earthly planet, so even though it is on this earthly planet, it is still superior to Vaikuntha. So the Vrajavasis who live in Vrindavan are considered to be, great devotees of the Lord, irrespective of their position. Anyone who's had the fortune of being born in Brajabhumi and living in Brajabhumi, irrespective of their position, they are considered as great devotees of the Lord. So one must have performed a great deal of pious activities to take birth in such holy places. So today we'll begin our parikrama at Mathura. This is a beautiful, by the way, all of these pictures are from ISKCON Bangalore, HK Hill. So I've just borrowed all their pictures because they had some beautiful aerial shots of the places that we're going to visit. So you can see this beautiful Yamuna River, and on the banks of the river, here towards the right corner is Vishram Ghat. So it is said that after Lord Krishna kills Kamsa, he rests here, he takes a dip in the river here and rests for some time. So the question is, why should Krishna rest? He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is a saying in the Saura Purana that after Krishna kills Kamsa, there is a particular shloka that is recited in the Saura Purana. Why this place is called the Vishram Ghat. Tato Vishranti Tirthakyam Tirtamaho Vinashanam Samsara Maru Sanchara Klesha Vishranditam Nranam. Wandering throughout the desert of material existence, living entities suffer the threefold miseries of life. They are without shelter in all respects and become thoroughly exhausted by many kinds of afflictions. When they bathe in the waters of this eminent place of pilgrimage, which have bathed Sri Krishna's lotus feet, they experience tranquility, Vishram. For this reason, the name of the sacred place is Vishranti or Vishram Ghat. So it is said that Krishna is the resting place for all of us. So Krishna is resting in Mathura after killing Kamsa. He takes a dip here, but he is the actual abode of rest for all of us. That is where we will find tranquility. We find tranquility when we have a deep loving relationship with Krishna. It is said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he visits Vrindavan, he takes a sankalpa here at Vishram Ghat and begins his Vrajabhumi Parikrama. So ideally, when you're doing the Vrajabhumi Parikrama, one must begin in Vishram Ghat in Mathura. But because of conveniences or inconveniences, the schedules may be set up very, very differently. But this is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes a bath in the Yamuna River and he does prokshana and he takes a sankalpa. So when you begin the parikrama, you should also take a sankalpa. So you want to keep that sankalpa throughout this parikrama. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does. So here at this place, there are deities of Krishna, Mother Devaki, Vasudev, the river Yamuna. Her altar is also there. These are very, very small altars. It's a very crowded place when you go there. Many, many people come to see the Yamuna Arathi here. So in the evenings, the Yamuna Arathi is performed in a very grand fashion. So it's a very, very holy place to begin your parikrama. It is said that anybody who takes birth in Mathura, or anyone who even stays for one night in Mathura, it is guaranteed that they will get Krishna Prema in this lifetime. So that's how holy this place is. But then we know that Vrindavan is even holier than Mathura. But Mathura is where we are going to begin our parikrama. So here you can see the Krishna Janmasthan. Right beside it, abutting the wall, is the mosque. This is the birthplace of Lord Krishna. It is said that this birthplace is protected by the Lord's Sudarshan Chakra. Much earlier, it is said that there used to be a 6-story temple on the site where the mosque is today. So technically, it is understood that the birthplace of Krishna is actually the mosque. But then the temple has been constructed right beside it. So here is where Kamsa was creating so much distress for Mother Earth, that Mother Earth goes to pray, approaches her son, Brahma, and petitions to do something. And of course, the Lord says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. So whenever there is a decline in religion and a predominant rise in irreligious practices, Krishna says he appears himself to do 3 things: to save the devotees, to destroy the demons, and to restore dharma. So this is the Janmastan. And here, if you go into this particular temple, you will see a little cave where Vasudeva and Devaki were imprisoned. As we said, the actual position where the parents were kept in jail by Kamsa is actually where the mosque stands today. So this place is a very high security place. They are very, very strict about what you can take in. You can't take in anything practically. So everything you have to leave at the security place before you step into this temple. It's a huge temple. From here, it looks like it's one tiny little temple, but actually the premises are very, very huge. And because it is a little high up, elevated, you get a beautiful view of the city of Mathura from this particular temple. For those who have visited, they will remember. You get a beautiful view of this temple. So this is the birthplace of Krishna. After that, after Krishna was born here, he was transferred to Gokul. Here you see the Nanda Bhavan, an aerial shot of Nanda Bhavan. Again, this is up on a hill. From here, you are not able to spot it that easily, but you have to climb at least 100 steps to reach the top of this Nanda Hill. So this Gokul is around maybe 10-12 kilometers away from Mathura. So this is the home, the first home of the foster parents of Krishna, Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. And there used to be a very huge palace, it is said. This palace was arranged and constructed by, it is said, Lord Brahma. And even today, the 4 pillars that are there, it is actually from Dwapara Yuga. It is said, the 4 pillars. I have not observed the 4 pillars when I visited here because I forgot about this. But anyway, that is what it is said, that Brahma actually constructs a beautiful palace because Lord Krishna had arrived. So Lord Krishna swapped with Yogamaya. Yogamaya goes to Mathura and Krishna comes here to Gokul. So the Nandotsav is celebrated the following day, after the midnight of the day in which Krishna appears. So Nandotsav is celebrated in a big way. and a lot of charity was given to many, many brahmanas by Nanda Maharaj. Of course, charity was also given by Vasudev, but mentally. Because he was imprisoned, he couldn't do it, but mentally he offered luxurious things to many, many brahmanas. So here is the place where Krishna kills Putana and Shakatashura and Trinavarta. And all of the butter stealing pastimes happen here in Gokul. So Krishna and Balaram used to hang on to the tails of calves, and the calves would get frightened and try to run away and escape from them. But Krishna and Balaram would not let go of the tails, and they were dragged around on this mud of Gokul Dham. And they were bringing so much joy to the gopis. In the Damodarashtakam, there is a phrase that says, Ananda Kunde, like a deep well, an ocean of bliss Krishna was bringing to the Brajavasis. So this Gokul is also there in Mathura district. So if you enter the temple in the Nanda Bhavan, this is the deity that you will see. And as we mentioned, Nandotsav is celebrated in Gokul. After you go to Nanda Bhavan, then the next place to stop is called the Ukal Bandhan. This is the place where the Damodar Leela happens, where Mother Yashoda actually ties up Krishna. There is a saying in the Padyavali, Shrutim apare smritim itare bharatam anye bhajantu bhavabhitaha aham iha nandam vande yasyalinde param brahma. This particular verse from the Padyavali is cited by Srila Prabhupada in the purports for the Brahma Vimohan Leela, where Brahma is just stupefied that this little young boy is actually the Supreme Lord. And in one of the verses that Brahma recites, Prabhupada actually quotes this particular verse in the purport. Let others, fearing material existence, worship the Vedas, the Vedic supplementary Puranas, and the Mahabharata. But I shall worship Nanda Maharaj, in whose courtyard the Supreme Brahman is crawling. It is said that it was one of the Brahmanas who actually worships like this, saying, I don't want to worship anyone else but Nanda Maharaj, because he's such a great personality that the Supreme Lord appeared to crawl around his courtyard, the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. So this is a famous verse. You can see that there is this spot in Gokul where it is said that Krishna was tied up. So you can see a mortar and a little stone over there. Of course, the Lord has been naughty one too many times, and Mother Yashoda is frustrated with Krishna's mischievousness, and to control her son and to teach him some values, because after all, one day he's going to be the king of Vrindavan. So she decides she has to take matter into her own hands, and she punishes him by tying him up. And therefore he's called Damodara. In the Balamukundastakam, there is this two lovely verses. With my mind, I think of the child Mukunda, who is tied to a mortar, who is charitable and heroic, who broke the twin Arjuna trees playfully, and whose eyes are like fully open red lotus. With my mind, I think of the child Mukunda, who lovingly looks at his mother's face when he drinks milk from her, who is having eyes like the lotus flower, who is the unalloyed form of truth, and who is the God with limitless form. Just a couple of verses glorifying this particular pastime and glorifying Mukunda, Damodara. And from here, there is a place called the Brahmanda Ghat. So it is very close by. Actually, this Ukal Bandhan, it's a beautiful place. It's a very small place. You can offer a ghee lamp. It's considered to be very, very auspicious if you're able to visit this place during Kartik month and offer a ghee lamp to Damodara there. They have a nice goshala, a small goshala there. It's a beautiful place. All of this are in the forests or surrounded by agricultural land, right? So when you travel through some of this Brajamandala Parikrama, you will not come across huge cities and towns, which makes the atmosphere so peaceful. So one of my favorite places to visit is this Brahmanda Ghat. And along with it is a place just like half a kilometer or even less than half a kilometer. There's another place called the Chintaharan Ghat. So this Brahmanda Ghat is famous. Why? Because Krishna was caught eating mud. And the boys complained to Mother Yashoda. Even Balaram said, yeah, that is true. Krishna has been eating mud secretly. He's been doing it for many, many days. Of course, any mother would be very, very concerned. What will happen if the child eats mud every day like this? Certainly, it's not good for one's health. So, when Krishna decides, to lie to Mother Yashoda and say, actually, why would you even accuse me of eating mud? And Mother Yashoda says, I'm not accusing you. The other children have come and told me they've witnessed you doing this. What to speak of the other children? Your own brother has said you've been eating mud. Krishna says, I think all of them are lying. I've never eaten mud. And in a challenging spirit, he tells Mother Yashoda, if you want, you can open my mouth and check for yourself. And sure enough, Mother Yashoda accepts this challenge. And when Krishna opens his mouth, she sees the whole cosmos there. And she just becomes thoroughly bewildered. What is going on? Who is this personality? Am I dreaming? Is it true or not? So at this beautiful place, there is a very small temple. You can see there are steps coming down to the Yamuna River. You can take a bath. There are also boats there if you want to cross the river over to the other side and take a bath. It's a beautiful place. And the Brajavasis are such simple people. I have seen in a couple of the visits here that they come in big numbers and they just sing and dance simple folk songs glorifying Krishna. And in this way, they really, really glorify the Lord. So just see how beautiful this place is. And one of the trees that is there on the platform, you can see they have tied many cloths, pieces of cloth. I suppose it's some kind of worship that they are doing. So here is the deity in the small temple, right across from this beautiful tree. There is a small temple. And what do they sell here? You get an opportunity to do Arati to Yamuna here. So you light a lamp, you can purchase a small ghee lamp and light it and float it on the Yamuna. But more importantly, the devotees will purchase these little balls of mud and they will take it home, and every day they will take a little bit of this mud and put it in their mouth. Because that's what Krishna did. Krishna worshipped Mother Bhumi here. So they will sell these balls of mud in packets. It's like 20 rupees or something. You'll get 5 or 6 clay balls from this place. So this is very nice to visit this place here. So close by, we said there is also this Chintaharan Ghat. So what happens is that Mother Yashoda thinks that, so many demons are attacking my son. And she's very worried. And she goes to a temple of Lord Shiva and worships Lord Shiva. And it is said that as she is worshipping Lord Shiva gives her peace of mind. And therefore, there is a beautiful, actually, if you come back here, further down this place, there is a beautiful Chintaharan Ghat. There is Mahadev there. There is a beautiful linga. I remember in one of the visits that I was part of, we had wonderful Harikatha there and wonderful Prasadam. It's a nice place. It's a beautiful place. you can do Abhishek of the Shiva Linga there with the water. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Actually, all these places are like in a row, you know, the Chintaharan Ghat, the Brahmanda Ghat, then Ukal Bandhan, all come on the same road, a little distance from each other. So now we're coming to the birthplace of Srimati Radharani. This place is called Raval. This is actually the temple where her baby form of Radharani is there. So again, this is a beautiful place. It's a little bit further away. It is not as close to the other places that we just looked at. So how does Srimati Radharani appear? So this Raval is around 9 kilometers from Mathura, the birthplace of Srimati Radharani. So King Vrishabhanu and Kirtida, they really wanted a daughter. They already had a son, Sridham. So they perform austerities, and Brahma is very pleased with their austerities, and he grants them the boon. He says that one day you will have a daughter who will be the topmost devotee worshipping Lord Sri Krishna. So one day Vrishabhanu is gone to take a dip in the river, and in a nearby pond on a 1,000-petaled golden lotus, he finds this beautiful young infant laying on this lotus. Very, very effulgent, very, very beautiful. As he picks up the child, he hears an Akashvani. This Akashvani says that this child will be the most glorious Srimati Radhika, who will be the topmost worshipper of Sri Krishna. So you can see on the right-hand side, the crawling form, just like you have Laddu Gopal, you know, I guess you could say this is Laddu Radharani. So she is crawling here. It's a lovely place. Across from this temple is a beautiful park where you can see some very beautiful deities of Sri Radha Krishna. You can see on the right, so beautiful these deities are. Here also we stopped by and did Sankirtan. I remember one of the visits we had breakfast prasadam here. So it is in the Garga Samhita that this pastime of the appearance of Srimati Radharani to King Vrishabhanu and Kirtida is mentioned. How she does not cry, she is mute, apparently also deaf. She doesn't open her eyes and she doesn't interact at all with her parents. So the parents are obviously worried. Meantime, Nanda Maharaj, Narada Muni is thinking, okay, if Krishna has appeared, then Radharani should be here, somewhere close by. So he goes knocking on many, many doors to see if Radharani has appeared in any of the householders. And until he finally reaches Vrishabhanu's residence. And when Narada Muni asks him, we had a newborn recently, and Vrishabhanu pushes forward his son, Sridham, and says, yes, yes, this is my son. Narada Muni says, no, 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 I am asking about a newborn. So at that time, Vrishabhanu confesses, he says, yes, I have a daughter. I've not revealed this to anybody because she's so beautiful, but at the same time, we are worried that she has not uttered a sound, she's not opened her eyes, she doesn't seem to hear us, there's no reaction. She seems to be in some kind of samadhi. So at that time, Narada Muni asks to see the child alone. And that's when Srimati Radharani reveals her eternal form in Golok Vrindavan. And Narada Muni is blessed this way by Srimati Radharani and all of her Sakis. So Narada Muni gets darshan not only of Srimati Radharani, but also of all of her Sakis. And then, of course, Narada Muni instructs Vrishabhanu that you please announce that you have a girl child, that you've been blessed with a girl child, and invite everybody, especially you invite Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda and Mother Rohini. And of course, we know Krishna comes and he wanders into the room where Srimati Radharani is laying in the crib. And the minute Radharani, the minute Krishna enters the room, Srimati Radharani is able to smell him. And the minute he touches her, she opens her eyes. Of course, there is another Leela here, actually. In the spiritual world, Krishna is speaking to Srimati Radharani, and he tells her, you know, Mother Earth has worshipped for me to come and save her. So soon I have to make a trip to Bhuloka. And I want you to come with me. And Radharani says, no, no, no. Why do I want to come to Bhuloka? You know, I'm happy here where I am doing my services. And Lord Krishna insists, and he says, no, but we have to go. We have to perform our pastimes. So it's important that we do that. So then Radharani says, okay, if you want me to come with you to perform pastimes, you please make sure these three things are there. First, Yamuna River. Yes. Then Vrindavan. The same Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan, has to be transferred to Mother Earth. And then Giriraj Govardhan. And Krishna says, done and done and done. All three I will make arrangements for. So you please come with me. So, and the last thing that Radharani asks for is, you know, it's very difficult for me to be separated from you. Therefore, we can only begin our pastimes after I have seen you. So Krishna says, done. So Srimati Radharani gets to see Krishna first. Her mood is, she is completely Krishna conscious. So even before performing their Bhauma Lilya pastimes, she wants to take darshan of Krishna first before anything else transpires. So this is a beautiful place. It's called Raval. And from here, we're going to go to what is called the Dauji Mandir. You can see the Sudarshan or Sankarshana Kund here. Beautiful Kund. This is the Dauji Mandir. It looks very small, no, from an aerial view, but it is very large. It's a very large temple, very large complex. You can even get onto the roof here. There are a lot of shops all around where you can buy mishri and peda and so many different items. So this is an aerial shot of Dauji Mandir. It is said that your Brajamandala Parikrama is not complete until you have visited Dauji Mandir. I remember on one of the trips, we all went to Dauji Mandir except it was closed. So we couldn't take darshan of the deities here. But on another trip, I had the fortune of seeing these beautiful deities here. It is said that that this used to be the pasturing grounds for Krishna and Balaram. And you will see that Balaram, this is the deity of Balaram, Dauji. And why is he black? Because he's supposed to be the exact opposite color of Krishna. It is said he's black because he's absorbed thinking about his Lord, his master. There is a very nice prayer in the Narada Purana, which says, Namaste Halagraha, Namaste Musalayudha, Namaste Revati Kanta, Namaste Bhaktavatsala. So Revati Devi is there, but she's not standing beside him. She's right across from him. So if you want to see Revati, you have to go around the corner and come to the side of Balaram and then look left and you will see Mother Revati there, Revati, the consort of Balaram. So this particular shloka says, obeisances to you, O holder of the plow. Obeisances to you, O wielder of the mace. Obeisances to you, O darling of Revati. Obeisances to you, O kind benefactor of your devotees. So here is Balaramji. It is said that this deity was actually found in the Kund during the Mughal era. You know, a lot of atrocities were going on, destruction of temples and destruction of deities. So unfortunate. So sometimes the devotees would take extreme measures to protect the deities, and they would put the deities in ponds, or sometimes they would transport them out of Brajabhumi itself so that the deities could be protected and the worship can continue. So it is said that this particular deity was actually made by Vajranabha, the great grandson of Lord Krishna. So he also makes many other deities, which we will find out soon. I think more than 16 of them, if I'm not mistaken. So he installs all of these deities. He has never seen Krishna. He has never seen Balaram. So he asks his grandmother or mother-in-law, I don't know whom, to describe Krishna. Actually, he asks Uttara, I think, to describe Krishna. And Uttara describes Krishna. And based on that, he makes these various deities. And not all of the deities are completely as per the description of Mother Uttara, except for one. When she sees the deity of Shri Shri Radha Govindji, which is currently being worshipped in Jaipur, then Uttara says, yes, this is how Lord Krishna looked. So if you see Radha Govindji, which we will see one of these days when we're doing the parikrama, you have actually seen Krishna, because this is a direct description of Krishna from the lips of Uttara. And based on that, Vajranabha actually has these deities made. So now we're going to enter into the 12 forests of Vrindavan. So there are 12 principal forests, and of course there are sub-forests as well. These are the venue for the Lord's sweet pastimes. So this whole Brajabhumi extends for 168 miles. It is not a small place. This is that lotus unfurling that you saw there on the second slide. So it is said there are 48 different forests, which includes Upavanas and Prativanas and Adhivanas, all these sub-forests. So according to the Padma Purana, these forests are situated both on the eastern side and on the western side of the river Yamuna. So they are the Mahavan, Hamyavan, Madhuvan, Talavan, Kumudavan, Bhandiravan, Vrindavan, Khadiravan, Lohavan, Bhadravan, Bahulavan, and Belvan. Of these 12 forests, 7 of them are on the western side of the Yamuna River. And it is said that they come under the patronage of Lord Krishna. And the remaining 5 are on the eastern side of the Yamuna River, and they come under the jurisdiction of Lord Balaram. Hence, you see some pastimes of Balaram also killing some demons. So the first one we are going to enter is Madhuvan. You can see there is a thick, like a little forest, mini forest here, some agricultural land that you see. So what is this beautiful place? Let's find out. In Madhuvan, the Lord performs many of his cowherding pastimes. It is said that at the end of the day, Krishna had to count all the cows and make sure none of them were lost. So these 9 lakh cows of Nanda Maharaj, he had to count. So how he remembered the names of 9 lakh cows and how he called out for them. So sometimes Krishna would play his flute and the cows would come running to Krishna because Krishna was calling for them. But some of the cows would stay back. They would not come. Why? Because they personally wanted to hear their name being called by Krishna. So unless Krishna called them by their names, Davali, Simhamukhi, Lavali, please come, then they would come running to him. So in the Chaurashtakam, there is a beautiful description of some of the Lord's pastimes. I know many of you are familiar with this Chaurashtakam because we used to sing it during Purushottam month. So in the first verse, Bilvamangal Thakur is saying, I offer my respectful obeisance to that foremost of thieves who is famous in Vraja as the butter thief and who steals the gopis' clothes and who, for those who take shelter of him, steals the sins which have accrued over many lifetimes. So Krishna is the greatest thief. Not only is he stealing your butter, he's stealing your mind, he's stealing away all of your karmic reactions just so that you can go back to him. So isn't this a wonderful thief that is worthy of our worship? Therefore, we should take shelter of this great thief. In one of the other verses, Bilvamangal Thakur says, mere utterance of his name purges one of a mountain of sins. Such an astonishingly wonderful thief I have never seen or heard of anywhere. So Krishna is saying, you just chant my names, I will come and wipe away your sinful reactions. What kind of thief do you want? Don't you want to chant the holy names of the Lord? So some beautiful verses from Chaurashtakam here. Krishna used to enjoy himself. So the aerial shot that we saw earlier, this place is called Dhruvatila. So I had the good fortune of visiting this place last time I was in Brajabhumi. So what is this place famous for? Again, it's at a little bit of a distance. The buses cannot reach this particular temple. So there is a designated point where you get off and you have to walk around 2 kilometers, 1.5, 2 kilometers to come and see this temple. There are some nice caves there where the great rishis have performed tapas. You can actually go into the cave. I don't remember the pastimes of who were the rishis who did the tapas there. But what is so special about this Dhruvatila? In the pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam, Dhruva Maharaj is very, very upset because he doesn't get an opportunity to sit on the lap of his father as his father Uttanapada was sitting on the throne. His stepmother, Suruchi, says, no, 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 unless you are born from my womb, you cannot sit on your father's lap. So Dhruva Maharaj goes crying and upset and angry to his mother Suniti. And she advises him, you're so upset. Actually, you shouldn't be so upset. Sometimes these things happen. You should just learn to tolerate. But Dhruva Maharaj is no mood to tolerate. He says, no, 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 no. I am so angry. I want revenge. I want a bigger kingdom than my father Uttanapada. I want a bigger kingdom than his father Swayambhuvamanu. I want a bigger kingdom than his father Brahma. So like this, Dhruva is very, very enraged as a young child, as a 5-year-old, and he thinks, no, I cannot handle this kind of insult. This insult has to have a response. So he asks his mother, where can I find God? And his mother tells him, I have heard from great rishis that they usually go into the forest to worship the Lord. So Dhruva Maharaj goes into the forests and he asks the trees and animals, have you seen God? Have you seen God? Have you seen God? And then he starts doing some meditation. And Narada Muni comes to visit him. And he says, your father is so anxious about you. How can you just leave your house like that without the permission of your parents? And he asks Dhruva to please return home. Your parents are beset with worry. And Dhruva says, look, I'm searching for God, and until I find him, I'm not going back. Are you going to help me or not? Narada Muni was very impressed with the tenacity of this young child. And he gives them this mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And he tells Dhruva Maharaj, you meditate and recite this mantra, and soon you will see the Lord. So Dhruva Maharaj does as per the instructions of his guru, Narada Muni. So it is said that that austerity that he kept was in this place, in this Madhuvan forest. So for 6 months he observes this austerity until he sees Lord Narayana appearing before him. He's so shocked and pleased and happy, he doesn't know what to do. So the Lord reaches over and touches him on the forehead with his conch shell. And then Dhruva Maharaj begins to glorify the Lord. So here on this altar, you can see Narayana, you can see Narada Muni and Dhruva on the altar. Again, it's a beautiful place. It's a little far off. We had some very nice Harikatha here. It's a really, really beautiful place. You have to climb up the stairs to go visit this temple. It's in the midst of a very thick forest. So what is Dhruva's prayers? This prayer is not in Srimad Bhagavatam. However, it is in a book called the Hari Bhakti Subodhaya, which Prabhupada cites in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Madhya Lila, in the 22nd chapter, in the 42nd verse. Prabhupada cites this particular shloka in the purport. Sthanabhilashi tapasi sthitoham Tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam Kacham vichinvan api divya ratnam Swamin kritharthosmi varam nayache. Dhruva Maharaj, after he sees Lord Narayana, he regrets that he was praying for something material. So when he was blessed by the Lord, he says, "Oh my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe types of penance and austerity. Now I have gotten you who are very difficult for the great demigods, saintly persons and kings to attain. I was searching after a piece of glass." So what did Dhruva Maharaj want? He wanted a bigger kingdom than even Lord Brahma. And so he says, what a colossal mistake I made in this prayer. I was searching after a piece of glass, but instead I have found a most valuable jewel. What is the jewel? His darshan of the Supreme Lord, of Narayana. Therefore, I am so satisfied that I do not wish to ask any benediction from you. So what he was praying for, he got much better than that. He got the Lord himself. And once he sees the Lord, he says, actually, I don't want any kingdom. I have achieved the highest form of benediction, which is taking your darshan. But of course, the Lord says, no, 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 you have to go back. You have to be the king. You know, you can't give up all of this kingdom right away. So Dhruva Maharaj is very obedient. He listens to the Lord and goes back. Later on, he becomes a great king, and he has a special place in the spiritual world. There is a place called the Dhruva Loka, which is never destroyed. That is way above, somewhere between the material world and the spiritual world. Here is Talavan, and you can see the Sankarshan Kunda. You can barely see the water because there is so much growth in the water of, I guess it's water hyacinth. So what happens here? Here is a pastime of Balaram and Krishna, where the boys say, Krishna, Krishna, we want to eat these beautiful fruits. We heard that these fruits are very, very sweet, but they are high up on the tree. We cannot reach them. It is said that even Indra comes here to taste this very, very sweet fruit. And Kamsa chases him away, and he places this demon called Dhenukasura to protect this particular forest. But then the boys are hungry. And so Balaram decides, okay, let me go shake down a few trees and maybe some fruits will fall and we can all partake of these fruits. So this particular pastime is there in Bhagavatam, chapter 15 of Canto 10. And there are two shlokas here. Prayachatani na Krishna gandha lobita chetasam vanchasti mahati Rama. Oh Krishna, please get those fruits for us. Our minds are so attracted by their aroma. Dear Balaram, our desire to have those fruits is very great. If you think it's a good idea, let's go to that Tala forest. So the boys had actually heard about these fruits in this forest called the Talavan. So they are begging the Lord, you know, why don't you take us there? We want to go taste these fruits. And hence they come to Talavan. Rama Rama Mahabhaho Krishna Dushta Nibharhana Ito Vidure Sumahad Vanam Tatali Sankulam. So the cowherd boys said, O Rama, Rama, mighty armed one, O Krishna, destroyer of the miscreants, not far from here is a very great forest filled with rows of palm trees. So it's the palm fruit that they were looking to have. So if you come to this Talavan, you see this beautiful deities, so beautifully dressed in pink. So you can see Krishna there. You can also see Krishna and Srimati Radharani and some beautiful Laddu Gopals down below the altar. So it's a beautiful place to come and visit. Yeah. Actually, it is Balaram and Revati and Krishna to the left of the screen. From here, we're going to go to a place called Bahulavan. You see there are two sarovars here. We see one of them. What we see is the Sankarshana Sarovar. When I was on my last trip to Vrindavan, the Padapitam of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was placed here. And it was a beautiful early morning when this installation happened. There was just uproarious kirtan. And the people here just, greeted us so nicely, treated us so nicely. Again, it is, there is a nice forested area, although here you see a lot of villages and other things around here. This is called the Sankarshana Sarovar. You don't see the Manasara Sarovar here. So what is the pastime that took place here? This is called Bahulavan. Bahula is actually a dear friend of Krishna in the form of a cow. And one day she was here at this particular kund, drinking water to quench her thirst, and a tiger appears. And the tiger says, "You gave up your body because I'm hungry." At which time Bahula tells the tiger, "Please let me go. I have a calf waiting for me at home. I have to give that calf milk." And saying this, Bahula says, "Once I have fed my child for the last time, I will come back and then you can eat me." So why should the tiger trust the cow? Because it is said that the Brajavasis are very, very honest. There is a saying in the Vishnu Bhagavata, "Satyavratam satya param, trisatyam satyasya yonim nihitam cha satye, satyasya satyamrita, satyanetram satyatmakam tvam sharanam prapannaha." O true of promise, true of purpose, strictly true, the fountain of truth and dwelling in the truth of the truth, the eye of the right and truth, spirit of truth, refugee we seek in thee. So it is said that Bahula was telling this tiger, we have all taken shelter of Lord Krishna here in this Brajabhumi. So when we have taken shelter of Krishna, you can understand that we will not lie. We will not lie. So you can trust me when I say I will feed my calf and come back to you and offer my body to you. So Bala goes back home. She tells her young calf, I have to give up my body because I made this promise to the tiger. So please have your last milk from me. And then I have to leave you. You have to take care of yourself. And the calf cries out saying, well, if you have to give up your life, I am also ready to give up my life. I cannot be separated from you. So the calf, along with Bahula, go back to this kunda, and the tiger is waiting there for them, ready to eat them. Actually, this tiger was actually Yamaraj, testing the truthfulness of the Brajavasis. That is the true identity of the Brajavasis. Because they've taken shelter of Krishna, they will never speak any untruths. So this is the place where this pastime happens. And Krishna, of course, says, "Mat chitta mat kata prana bodhayantah parasparam katayantas chamam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha," which means Krishna is saying, what do my pure devotees do? Pure devotees are always thinking of Krishna. Krishna says their minds are dwelling on me. They are always thinking about me. Their lives are fully engaged in devotional service to me. And they derive a great deal of bliss and satisfaction by talking about me among themselves, by hearing Harikatha. So similarly, the Brajavasis are always engrossed in pastimes of the Lord. So we have some more parikrama to do. If you give me permission, we can do Govardhan Parikrama. Otherwise, we will have to do it tomorrow. So it's already 45 minutes past 7. So we'll stop here today and we'll continue with our parikrama tomorrow.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.